Hello guys, and welcome to Unscripted, new type of video I'm going to be doing on the channel, which should give me more time, more room to do like memes and other games and all that jazz. But Unscripted is about, well, there's no script, and whatever the topic is, and the topic today is Black Prior, the hero's design, and the hero's power level. They're two different things, but maybe I'll explain that. Maybe you can tell what I mean by that anyway, implied. But a lot of you may know that I'm a fan of offense and the game being better for, like, everyone should be able to attack relatively safely. And that's not the case, you know, like only some can, some can't. There's quite the disparity on that and many other aspects. I'm a fan of every hero in the game being able to do something useful, albeit, you know, they'll be strong in some areas of that and weak in others. And there's one thing I hate more than anything is dead moves, but we'll get to that in a minute. So, Black Prior is to be nerfed and he's out of stamina like pressure, which is confirmed by the devs. I'm not sure what else if they've confirmed any other nerfs or changes, but that if you don't know what that is, it's like, you know, it's a light attack landing while an opponent is out of stamina will confirm a follow-up bash, which then confirms a light. The bash pauses your stamina regeneration and does stamina damage, and it's a rinse and repeat, and it's extremely obnoxious pressure that doesn't belong in this game. So that's going to be nerfed, which is good, but he needs other nerfs. The bash is 20 damage, and that's way too much. I think unanimously there is no one out there who thinks 20 damage on the bash is okay, which is great. There ain't many things we agree on it, for honor. There ain't a whole lot, but 20 damage on that bash is not all right. That bash is pretty damn safe, which is another topic we'll get on soon. So, you know, let's if the bash is the 20 damage as a result of the finisher light, the second light and chain being 20 damage, I think maybe a reduction to 15 or so is cool there. Would make that move more balanced as a tool. Another thing I would like to see changed on his bash, and this is something I'd probably like to see changed on bashes in general, because I'm not a fan of how often you spend your time managing your stamina or out of stamina in For Honor, right? I don't think it's particularly fun, but everyone has to do it. I think the Stam regen pause time should definitely be reduced on the bash as well, because I do want the bash to remain safe. And the reason I want the bash to remain hard to punish is because it comes back to it's an actual opener. Right now it's an obnoxious opener, but hopefully it will just be an opener. I can already see the comments on the recovery on it being too low, but that's my opinion on things going forward for Honor. I do want heroes to be able to press if they want to press, and be good at that if they're supposed to be good at that, and he's one of those heroes. You can let me know what you think about it, but my reasoning is I'd rather press buttons in a video game than not press buttons. The damage, another thing I want to talk about is the damage of these heavy finishers, which is too high. It's 40, I think, from all sides on this heavy finisher, the undodgeable. And it's a weird move, right? Because it's got a lot of damage. It's not going to be used a whole lot on 1v1 or at all at high level 1v1, but you could see it being really useful in team modes, right? Like target swaps and stuff like that. But then it whiffs at any sort of range, or doesn't track, or catch, or it's too far away for someone on a target swap or something like that. I think they should buff that, so it would be useful in 4s for team fighting, XVX scenarios and all that jazz. But maybe the sides should be 33 damage, top 38, something like that. Another thing on him is his superior light. When the out of stamina light gets changed, which we just talked about, the superior light, which is like his crushing counter if you're not familiar with the superior light term there. Right now there's 20 damage plus a confirmed bash follow-up, which then confirms the finisher light, which is also 20 damage, so it's 40 damage altogether, right? Which is pretty damn strong. But once the OOS light nerf comes in, the follow-up bash will no longer be confirmed as a result. So maybe in a buff to his initial superior light, his crushing counter light, to 30 damage instead of 20, because there is no confirmed bash follow-up. I think would be a good compensation. The dash heavy as well, if you didn't know, he has that as well on dash heavy, that superior light or crushing counter, and that does 20. I think it's 20. I'm not sure, but I think it should be 30 as well, to align with the lights. There's another weird thing about him, like Black Prior is so strong in 1v1 scenario, like very, very strong, but in fours he feels like he's missing something, you know, like you feel like you're not putting out the pressure on the map that you would like to. And maybe if you were Nabushi or Berserker or something like that, you feel like you're exerting more pressure on the enemy team. Sometimes I don't feel that with the character, and I mean, some of the stuff we talked about earlier kind of contributes to that, of course, like those the whiffs on the heavy finishers for XVX and team scenarios. But something that will really help him with this is his dash heavy. The tracking and the range need to change. It's absolutely atrocious. It looks like a move. It looks like me trying. The animation is like, and the tracking makes it look like me trying to imitate a For Honor move IRL, and it's really bad. And that's what it looks like in game. It's terrible. It's a terrible tool. It looks like it's supposed to be designed to catch rolls or something, or close distance, and it doesn't really do it. It just doesn't do it. It should be improved, because I would like him to be able to chase. I would like all heroes to have chase, and by chase I mean, you know, Shaman can chase, like with our dash heavies. Ward with his dash heavy can chase. Shaolin is good chase. That's chase. When someone's unlocking, running away, don't want to fight you, you have some way to close the distance and draw them back into a conflict. There's a lot of heroes who can't chase, and it's very frustrating in For Honor, especially if you're fighting heroes with good movement speed, and the biggest offender there being Shinobi. Obviously, I don't think everyone should be able to dash heavy like Shaman. That'd be nuts, right? Like, chase should be, some should be good at it, some should be weak at it, but I think everyone should have it. Because it's good to encourage conflict where you can. You might have to work for it, but it should be good to encourage it. And I think his dash heavy tracking range need to come up on that. Not to the level of Shaman of Warden as I discussed, but it would be nice if he had something. He had some pressure, or maybe even he could punish it on read. If it turns out it's a little bit strong, it's very hard to get away from him. I mean, pull it back, rear back in a bit, maybe take the damage down a little bit, but give him something to punish someone who's trying to disengage all the time. The other thing I wanted to talk about with him was his heavy soft aim bash, and I'm sure a lot of you have noticed, like, it's really, really easy to dodge, and its tracking is really, really bad. It always comes out at the same time, 400 ms into it, so it's predictable, kind of slow, pretty telegraphed, easy to dodge, and has a very high recovery. And that sounds like a terrible. If that sounds like a terrible move, it's because it is. It's a terrible move. It's absolutely garbage. Sometimes you land it on someone when they just completely don't expect it. But you could say that about a lot of things. You just surprise them with something dumb. I don't see it as a 1v1 move, personally, because he has other ways of maintaining pressure on 1v1. You know, like empty dash forward into the zone. He's unblockable as orange, of course, and if you've been conditioning with your regular bash and your zone or whatever else, then when someone sees the orange, they'll be on the unblockable, they'll be conditioned to side dodge, which will, you know, confirm the unblockable, you'd imagine. So I don't see this 1v1 tool for that reason, because he has a lot going on there, but he is kind of lacking in fours. And this would be a really useful force tool if the recovery was lower, not too much lower, because you don't want to make it an unpunishable tool, of course. Kind of like Jar Jar doing lights and fours. His recovery is too low. But you want it lower so he's not like an easy, really easy target like T-Andy. T-Andy has a lot of issues with recoveries, and you know, he does a finisher light or finisher heavy in a team fight, someone's gonna just GB him and they have a really comfortable timing to get it. So maybe a good reaction time to it will net you a GB, but maybe you can change the timing on the heavy faint bash and it tracks a little bit better. And I mean the reward for that then as a result would be like the 15 damage light from the light finisher. I think with all these changes, he will be more of an all-round hero. It kind of reels him back in a little bit in 1v1 scenarios. It pushes him in areas he's weak, but not so far that he'd be really, really strong in those areas, but he would be capable of doing something in some other scenarios. And that's really how I'd like to see the design philosophy with Heroes and For Honor go as time goes ahead. You know, every hero has an option. They don't have these dead moves like when you're starting the game, you use all your moves in Lawbringer mirrors in duels, right? 2 rep zeros, Lawbringers going at it. They're using their chains, they're using their unblockables. They're going at it, you know? As you get better at the game, you use less and less and less moves, and it becomes kind of boring, right? It gets kind of repetitive, and I would like all heroes to be able to access their entire move kit and not rely too hard on one specific move. Like they can have a stronger move, weaker moves, whatever, and all that jazz. There might be sections of the moveset that are stronger than others, and that's fine. That's by intention, that's by design. This guy's good in these 1v1 scenarios. Maybe he's weak in 1vx scenarios, but he's good in xv1 scenarios, and he's mediocre in xvx scenarios. You know, they might have mediocre chase, strong 1v1. Their target swaps are good, but they don't have many defensive tools. You know, things like this, where you bring the whole picture together and the hero has something they can do in all the situations, but they're strong at certain things. So you'll be focusing on those things they're strong at anyway. That's about it. I can't think of much more else I want to say on him. I'd love to know what you guys think about it. Especially on the recovery thing on the bash. I know there's a lot of strong feelings out there about that. But I hope you did enjoy this kind of video. I appreciate you listening. Damn, unscripted outros are hard. And I'll catch you later, guys. Cheers for watching.